Well, let's be clear right away. When I say it's illegal, I don't mean the EU4 police are going to show up outside your door and arrest you for using the strategy. The only real people calling it illegal are die-hard Byzantium fanboys. You know, the people who sleep under the Byzantine bedsheets, have framed photos of Justinian I, which are signed somehow, and ride to work on a cataphract. If these people catch you using a strategy, they'll show up outside your door and throw the elixir at you, until you repent for your sins. So what is this controversial strategy? Well, Byzantium has been referred to as a purple phoenix, but a phoenix doesn't heal itself really. In the mythology for it, it emerges from the ashes, after it, well, dies. And the thing with Byzantium is that in most cases they don't actually die. As they reduce their 1444 borders, then John VIII suddenly remembers, oh right, I have the Reconquest to be on the Ottomans, takes out loads of debt usually, and look at that, Byzantium re-emerges from the ashes. But they never truly died, unless you count the Latin Empire thing. I mean, that's not really a phoenix, is it? For a phoenix to re-emerge stronger than ever, it needs to actually die. And such, inspired by the true phoenix, this is how strategy is going to work today. Now, to be clear, this strategy, in its primordial sense, you know, the players the Ottomans conquer Byzantium and release and players them, has existed for absolutely forever. As a matter of fact, I had first heard of this strategy back in 2016. Now, that is well over 7 years ago now, which means by internet years, this is an ancient strategy. So, to claim something new here would be disingenuous. The only thing that I would like to point out is that this strategy has grown incredibly in terms of its strength due to two main factors. With King of Kings, Byzantium now has a much more substantial mission tree that you can go and enjoy. And furthermore, with the previous domination update, the Ottomans also enjoy a much stronger mission tree, so that they can hit the ground running even more as terms of the setup and the power that you provide to Byzantium. Around 4 years ago, I'd actually used a similar version of this Ottomans into Byzantium release trick to do a one faith, one tag as Byzantium itself. Again, just to get that start going. I like to think that I'm now a bit better at the game and should be able to do it without this strategy, but that remains to be seen. Regardless, it's strong, and it's going to be even stronger now. So, let's go through the motions and demonstrate what you should be going for. The main idea here is to utilize the Ottoman missions as much as possible to develop Constantinople to the peak of its development, as it were, to give Byzantium the greatest possible start. We also want to be reducing our own strength to a point where Byzantium, when they do declare independence, can kill us ridiculously easily and pick up all of our vassals that we're releasing into a format that's going to let them be quite strong, with minimal amounts of AE required. With that said, let's start talking setup. First things first, we're going to need to squeeze out a lot of money for this, because we're going to be spending it for advisors and a whole bunch of other things. So, we don't need forts. Fact of the matter is, we're not going to be defending for a large part of this game, so we're going to actually go around and just delete a whole bunch of these. We don't need them. This is going to save us a non-trivial amount of money by the time we hit 1450, since they're going to be setting us back a decent amount of, well, money and maintenance every month, and it's going to give us more money to work with in terms of everything I've got going for us. I'm also going to be rooting out corruption by maximum amounts. We shouldn't need to take corruption this run, because if we do take corruption, it's going to increase our dev cost, and that's not something we want. But at the same time, I'd rather counter the religious unity corruption gain to make sure we're not getting it passive. We're not going to be building any new boats, we're not going to be building any new troops either. What we have here in terms of troop count is enough for our goals. We're going to be saving that money and potentially manpower to upgrade the monument later. I'll show you why for a mission. From our estates, we're going to want monarch points, so go to the Ulema and give them religious states, go over to here for monthly mill points, and go over to the merchant guilds for land of commerce. Okay, in terms of other privileges, for the Ulema, I'd recommend Clerical Advisory Council to get admin advisor cost reduction, and also development of temples, because weirdly enough, we are actually going to be building a temple for a mission to really make the Byzantium start even stronger. Also give out oversight of the Ulema just to keep them nice and loyal. This is going to give us a pretty decent loyalty equilibrium. It's going to get even better, however, once we go over to the, well, our military, the Umera, aristocratic councillors to again get our advisors to be cheaper, right of council, and very importantly give out supremacy over the sublime porte, whatever that means. Usually supremacy over the monarch. What this is going to do is give us a relatively high loyalty equilibrium, so we're going to get more buffs out of our estates eventually. The one that we're actually looking for is going to be the merchant guild, because we want to get them to 60 loyalty. So for the merchant guilds, give out commercial advisory board, free enterprise, and also go in debt to them right away. This is going to give us a bit of early money to work with. I'd also recommend giving out merchant guilds financial demands. This is going to give us a passive 10% national tax, which is quite nice for squeezing out more money, and more importantly, loan size out of our country. And it's going to take their influence above 60. This means that when their loyalty goes above 60, we'll be able to get the max amount of dev cost out of the merchant guilds. The dhimmi can be safely ignored. If you want to squeeze out tax money from them, you can with the Dhimmi Contribution Act. You can also get some protected dhimmi communities to get the religious unity modifiers, but it's not really necessary. I would recommend Sultan-appointed Agaz, I cannot pronounce this, for Land Leader Shock buffs, but it's completely pointless. You don't need to do that. An extra Land Leader Shock isn't going to make or break your campaign, but it's an option, I guess. There is an argument to be made as well for Janissary celibacy for yearly corruption decreases, but again, I'm going to leave both the dhimmi and the Janissaries as is. Before we summon the Diet, we're going to do a little trick. We're going to queue up 7 soldiers. We're going to be cancelling them later, and we're going to summon the Diet, and we're going to hope that we're going to get the Umera, oh, we didn't get it, the get your manpower back. We didn't unfortunately get it, so that's a shame. In terms of any of our actual requirements here, pay off the national debt is not going to be happening, but there's no point increasing autonomy. The merchant guild is something I would have taken a look at because it's quite a nice one for getting their loyalty back up, but at the end of the day, it's going to take there anyway, so there's not much point. Take something like Proposal of Janissaries, give them 2 privileges. There's no point actually giving it out, to be honest. I mean, you can if you want to, but we're not going to need to complete any privileges from anyone. The one thing that I would also recommend to bear in mind is the Seizing Crownland button. Normally you'd want to seize here and then expand and seize here. What we're actually going to be doing is going to be expanding first, as this is going to increase our Crownland as much as humanly possible from killing Byzantium and Epirus, which are the 2 people we're going to kill. Then we're going to seize the Crownland. What this is going to do is that means we're going to hopefully hit 10% so they can go and tell and sell titles. So we're not going to seize for now, with the idea of seizing in a bit. Do not take Defender of Faith or anything of that sort. Do not select a naval doctrine, as tempting as Great Turkish Navy is going to be for you. Then, immediately admin focus. We're going to need a lot of admin because we're going to be moving our capital. In fact, we're going to be actually throwing our country in a bit of disarray because we're not going to be coring any of the new land we take outside of Constantinople. And now it's time to talk advisors. You have this absolute gentleman who's going to be half price, and you want to immediately get him up to level 4 for just 7 ducats a month. He's an absolute steal. Then for dip, I'd recommend the trade efficiency guy. He's going to give us a bit more money and, more importantly, loan size, but it's not too important. Get him to level 3. In terms of mill advisors, we are going to get a half price mill advisor is going to be popping up. However, even though he is half price, he's going to be locked at level 2, and we're not going to be able to upgrade him. We don't, strictly speaking, need our advisor to be better than level 2 for mill. We're not going to spend that much mill points. However, there is a case to be made if you want to really squeeze it out to go for the level 3 mill advisor. What I'm going to do in this case is going to wait for our Orban 75% off advisor to show up. We don't need that many mill points, and I'd rather have a bit more leeway with money in terms of how we're going to be approaching this. So with that said and done, we're going to leave our military advisor slot for now. This first mission is going to require us to get 2 generals. I'd rather not waste our mill rolling a general, so we're going to roll our, well, ruler. And oh dear lord, that is actually very lucky. Not from the fire or shock pips, it's mainly the siege. The siege is going to be quite useful. We're going to give our lower siege guy out to this one. Normally you don't get the siege one, but that's going to be quite helpful for getting it into Athens and getting to Maria. Now, of course, our first war is going to be on Byzantium. We're not going to need to fabricate a claim on them, but I am going to go ahead right away and I'm going to build a spy network on them. This is going to give us siege ability on the targets, for lack of a better word. I'm also going to immediately spy network Epirus as well, because that's the other person I'm going to kill. I'm going to assume Epirus allies someone like Ragusa, and Byzantium tends to not ally anyone if you declare on them right away, I find. But if they do, it's not the end of the world. What we're looking for here is we're going to wait for the victory over the Varna Crusade event, which is going to happen very quickly. I'm not sure why the other condition is year 1450 happens, because when that event fires, it's going to time out anyway before 1450, so the secondary condition there really doesn't matter too much. And we're also going to need 1 Guns of Urban, which is going to require some point a military advisor with at least skill level 2. That's probably going to happen by the time we are ready to declare war on Byzantium, which is going to be in the 12th of December, not the 11th, because we did send up a spy network. As you can see, we can only declare on the 12th, not 11th, because we did send a person over there to build a spy network. That being all said and done, at this point we're kind of ready to start looking at unpausing. So I'm going to be doing this at speed 3. There's no decisions or anything excessive that we want to press here. But for the most part, I believe that's our setup done and sorted. So, with that said, we've got this army marching over here to get ready for the declaration. We've combined our navy and I'm going to put it out here to help the siege of Constantinople. After which we're going to retreat because we need to preserve these boats for when we want to cross into the Epirus land over here. And that's about that. So let's get going. Okay, well, we got the event right away in 3 days. That's quite lucky. It doesn't always pop up right away, but this is quite lucky. So the Walls of Babylon itself is going to set us back 91 ducats, but it's going to give us a 75% off Morale of Armies advisor, which is obviously quite nice, and we're going to immediately go ahead and hire him. That's quite nice that we didn't get a monthly out of it, which is going to save us quite a bit. And as you can see, because 75% off, he's literally the price of level 1 advisor. The nice thing with that, though, is that, well, he may be a level 1 advisor in terms of cost, but we can't upgrade him because he's Hungarian. We haven't accepted the Hungarians. So that's a shame. This is going to give us access to this mission, though, right away, which is going to give us basically a bunch of free cannons, which is quite nice. These cannons are entirely useless for battles. As you can see, they have no pips yet because we haven't invented them. They just sit there with morale. But it's going to help us siege, and that's what we really want for. Also quite lucky is Byzantium has stopped playing for this fort. This happens pretty much always. I'm yet to see a version of this run where they don't stop playing for this fort, which is going to be quite helpful. Okay, almost got worried there. It's the 5th of December. I mean, this is probably one of the later I've seen this event pop up, but it doesn't matter too much. We're going to get our 25 power projection, 100 splendor. This is one of the reasons I also almost forgot to mention. Get your rivals sorted. Kind of messed us up already, but the idea is you want to send an insult right away, so that when this event does proc, you'll be able to get to 50 power projection. But I'm going to temporarily stop building a spine on Epirus so that we have our diplomat to declare war on Byzantium on the 12th, and I'm going to head over to the Mamluks and I'm going to send them a scornful insult. It's going to send me back prestige, but it's going to give me a bunch of power projection. That's going to be quite nice. And there we go, we're going to be now getting a +1 monthly to each mana point. Technically missed out on 3 mana by not doing it the previous month, but it's not like we could have done it with the event popping in December. But more importantly, it's going to give us Aftermath mana, Aftermath of Varna, a bunch of claims in Constantinople, which is perfect. We're going to get the CB next day. There we go, we've gained the Casus Bellis. And so we're going to be pretty much ready to declare war on Byzantium now, so let's get towards that. We're going to wait until the 12th of December, which is now. Byzantium still hasn't allied anyone, which is quite nice, and neither has Epirus actually. So we're going to immediately declare war on Byzantium now. Now, just as a mini contingency, we're going to be declaring war on this province here, not Constantinople, so they're going to get taking war score a bit faster. So we're going to declare war for Mesambria. Now we're going to take 1 infantry regiment to go over there. We're going to take these guys to go to the port here. Now this boat's going to suicide in here. Byzantium should be scared to send out this navy to fight this one, even though if it does get reinforced by the other navy, it should be fine. And unfortunately, this fort is paid for, as is assets. So we're going to immediately take this opportunity to take this army, and we're going to greed it quite a bit. We only need 6k on the other forts, so we're going to be taking these guys with our quite luckily rolled siege mechmed, and we're going to be taking this stack over to Athens just to get these 2 sieging right away. I found the AI, while they can probably beat one of these stacks, tend to be quite scared of you, and therefore they don't tend to go in, even though they really can. Almost forgot here, do cancel these troops if you're building them. You don't want to actually build them and waste your manpower. But with all that said and done, let's continue. So our diplomat returns to the declaration of war on Byzantium. Go back to Epirus and keep building Spine Oak. Nothing is lost, because Spine Oak is only built on the Gnostic. We're getting French requests from Ramazan and so on. You can ignore them for now. In fact, we can ignore them for the rest of the game until we are murdering them as Byzantium. And so let's go. We should be able to get them into this battle. There we go. Before they can do anything. And there's the stack wipe. Since we've arrived on this and we had the previous event for Varna, we're going to get an event, I believe, in a second now, which is going to tell us if, like, oh, walls breached or something similar on it. But there we go, the walls of Constantinople. And also stay saturates, obviously. Don't do that. But, yeah. Take that, and it's going to give us more siege ability, which is quite nice. These ones are the ones that are actually going to take the most time, but it is what it is. Anyway. At the moment, we just have sieges ahead of us. You can greed an Epirus declaration at this point as well. It's nothing too major or too bad is going to happen if you do. As a matter of fact, I'm quite tempted to do it myself at the moment. I'll have to wait until tomorrow. I think I will. It's very greedy, but it does mean that they don't ally someone like Ragusa. If you can do it, then go for it. If they do ally someone like Ragusa already in your run, there's no point doing the declaration now. But I think I'm just going to greed it and go for it. They shouldn't be able to really fight back. I mean, they have 5k. But it just means that this is even greedier, because Byzantium is going to build back up. I'm going to take this opportunity actually to grab one more, probably an infantry even, to go over here and give them a so that they are a bit more scarier actually. Just to siege out Corinth so that the Byzantium stacks build up a bit less in the process. And this stack, well, we don't need all these troops in Constantinople, so keep the cannons, but take... It is a level 3 fort, so you're going to need 10k to siege it, but you can take these guys over here and come over here just for your insurance. And since we're going to be sitting in Corinth, have your troops in here, because they look to the AI that they can reinforce both battles. Right, that all being said and done, I'm going to get to the sieges now, and I'll catch you when those progress. Actually, to interrupt myself, I'm going to be even greedier. The Empress army is nowhere to be seen. I believe they're on this island here, so I'm going to take this opportunity to go siege Arta as well, just to get this done even faster. Okay, we got actually quite lucky there. Constantinople fell in just 127 days. That's the power of a navy and, well, a one siege general with 4 cannons earlier, I guess. Especially when they're not paying for that fort. We're going to immediately, as soon as that happens, withdraw back to Biga or Pedviga or basically anywhere that isn't about to fight here. We arrive on the 2nd of May. Actually, we're around the 1st of May faster here, so if for what it's worth, go for it. Try and get out of there as soon as possible. This cannon stack here, which is basically cannon infantry, I'd recommend going over to Moria as fast as possible, because we want to, the earlier we can get this siege over, the faster we can go beat up the stack, so it stops the Byzantines rebuilding their army, basically. That's the plan here, so let's go march them over there now, and when we've finished another siege or two, I'll catch you back. It's April 1445, and we're very ahead of schedule, so far so good. Oh, and we don't actually need 5k on this siege here, because we've basically blocked off both of the ways that the AI can take to, well, fight this. They either have to go for Arta, or they have to go for Corinth. Either way, they're not going to go for Athens, so we can take this 1k stack and reinforce one of these other ones on the front line, as it were. I'm going to go for Corinth. I'm just going to hope they don't go for Arta anyway. Anyway, let me catch you in a bit. All 2 events pop up right away. Statutory rights, again, tell them to leave. Now, with the fall of Constantinople, we have 2 options. You can demand despot surrender, where basically they give up Constantinople, they continue existing as Moria. Very bad, don't do that. We're going to be releasing them later. We're going to want to annihilate all remnants of Byzantium, get that 10 prestige, keep the war going. Oh, if you also get the blockade event, that's going to happen. We can't beat all of their navies if we're greeting it. And as a matter of fact, I'd actually recommend again avoiding this fight, because what that's going to do is going to bring out the Athenian navy and the Knights navy and all those people. And you haven't built any new navy boats, so you're going to lose that, especially since you didn't get an admiral. When you get blockade, you're just going to go with war is hot on everyone. Plus 2 unrest in the province, which is probably not going to rise up. Isn't that big of a deal. Some autonomy change on it as well. Is whatever. You want the advent though, so for the purpose of saving the advent, take this option. In every other situation, normally I just take the 25 admin points, but in this case specifically, we really need those 1 points. So take them up to autonomy if you ever get the blockade event. Alright, there we go, and there goes Moria. Now, Byzantium at this point has thankfully only built up to around 4k, but Athens is still over there. We're going to have to take that fight, so I say just get ready for that and be prepared to take some casualties here. It's going to hurt, but we have the manpower for it. Thankfully, Mehmed II, being an absolute legend at sieging, kind of helps a lot with that. So I'm going to merge our troops back together. And right away I'm going to say we don't need these cannons anymore, we can go help. They're not going to help in the battle, so they may as well go help somewhere. In this case, Athens is the one that's lagging behind. But in this case, in your case, it might be Arta, you may not have declared on Arta. Again, it all depends. So send them over to Athens and get ready for the battle here. So, yeah, let's go. They're not going to help in the cannons aren't going to help in the battle. And 15-4 here turns out to be quite nice. The earlier you crush this, the less they can build their troops back up now. And it shouldn't be that bad of a fight. I mean, you are attacking into a mountain over a river crossing, but you are the Ottomans, so yeah, that goes about as well as you'd expect. Don't need to take extra attrition here, just to leave UK for the siege. Pop back, and this guy can then go back over to, actually, sorry, grab him as a general over to there. This little stack here, don't need these guys back. You can step all the way back, leave the 1k on here, all of these guys step into the middle. There we go. I mean, again, all these mini optimizations, really quite pointless in the grand scheme of things, but we're just optimizing our manpower in the process. With that said, I'll catch you back when these 2 sieges are done. So, there goes Athens, which means you can now take this little stack and move it onto Artria if it doesn't fall in the next 3 seconds. But it might do that. Or we might get our first disease outbreak. No, it falls. Okay, there we go. We are going to need to peace out Byzantium first before we go crush this little island. But we're actually really ahead of schedule. It's only November. Which means that, yeah, that's not going to be great. Ooh, protests. I haven't had this event before. We don't really care about mysticism or, well, legalism at the moment. I guess we move towards mysticism. Ulema loyalty is, whatever. Or taxes. It doesn't really matter. Be honest. Take the mysticism. We don't want to peace out too early. The problem with peacing out too early is we're not going to want to core any of these provinces. What that means is that we're just going to be sitting there overextended for no reason in particular. So take this opportunity to just loot this land. We're actually overstacked on this province here. Are we still overstacked on this province here? No, not anymore. Okay. So we're going to recover our manpower and just loot this, because there's no reason not to. Get there in 2 months. And wait until we get our first call for pizza. We want to be doing the big deck cycle on Constantinople anyway by around 1450. We want the Renaissance to be spawned, which means that we don't want to be taken out to around 1448 anyway. There's the Uncon, which is going to set up the ticker for War Exhaustion game. However, we don't want to be leaving until 1450, A, because we're going to get a whole bunch of War Exhaustion. Oh, declared war in Athens, that's annoying. Is Epirus involved in this somehow? No, okay, good. Because we want to build a temple on Constantinople, so we want to have time to do that. If you take a look at the temple building time, the mosque, that's going to take us 12 months to build, so we want to have at least 2 years leeway in the ideal case, just have time to build it. Venice, are they going to do much for this? Not much. Ooh, mill power. No, the Persian will do the mill power. Let's not waste my points on that. Right. Oh, and there we go. There's the call for pizza. We might want to just peace out now at this point, to be honest. This will also mean that we have the Navy to go over there and deal with Epirus. Yeah, again, it's not that big of a deal. You want to be full... In a peace deal, you want to absolutely full annex all of them and make the little pennies on the side. Yeah. There's the unconditional surrender. May want to give it more month ticks. Anyway. So there's the Navy out. Let's go over sail over there. Ooh. That's an unfortunate event. I think we just take the L for money here, and I'd rather keep the trade around considering promotion to level 3. And that's convenient. So our Navy scares them away, so that we're able to march over there and get the full annexation. We're just going to massively overstag that to minimize our casualties. And that does mean, yeah, Venice is not taking that. Perfect. Right. Don't actually need to siege this. Yes, we do something like this. Although I guess we can loot it. When I'm doing so much micro for something where you really don't need to do micro, once the siege is over, we'll be able to, yeah. Oh, did they just unconditional? They did just unconditional. Oh, foreign quarter of Constantinople. That is a nice event. Let's get the dev cost until 56. Yeah, that's actually incredibly lucky, I've just realized. That's incredible. Well, let's get that dev cost until 56. And we're going to wait until we get call for pizza, which is going to be starting to take up now. We're going to, again, want to take out this piece as late as relatively possible. Another important thing is do not integrate Galatia here, because we want to do that as Byzantium. It's relatively easy, and it's going to give us some more development on the province. I'll show you why that's going to be really cool later. Oh, also, I'm going to keep this fort because it's going to help us with counteracting some of the devastation as future land. Athens is just going to be devastated, so we're just going to have to deal with that as well. Oh, and we have no need to pay for our troops at the moment. We're not going to get any revolts for a while anyway, so no need to pay for them. We're good. Anyway, it's January 47. I think we can go ahead and take the peace deal now. We're going to want to, again, full annex them. Not going to get a coalition or anything. Not much you can take out of them except an extra 25 ducats, so let's just go ahead and do that now. And there we go, we have the full annexation. This is going to be quite important for us. We didn't actually get much crown land out of that, which is a shame. But don't worry, we'll dev our way back to crown land anyway. Our merchant guilds are almost loyal, but it's a shame that we're going to be seizing land now. Anyway, that's... Oh, it is going to cause a revolt. That's a shame. I guess we do better pay for our troops. My bad. Not going to do much to 2k stacks. Oh, of course, the Janissaries didn't give them any privileges, so they're going to be unhappy with us. Oh well, it really doesn't matter. But what does matter now is that we should be able to make Constantinople the capital. Doesn't require us to not have revolts, which is quite nice, and we're going to go ahead and do that. It's going to give us a stability for prosperity take, not that we're going to be able to get to prosperity take, and a whole bunch of free development in there, and make us, you know, an empire. So let's go ahead and do that. Look at us go. Woo, got a free core on it as well. It's going to immediately get rid of this autonomy here, which is going to be quite nice. And we have the first mission as well to get some more development on it. There's no reason to not have it. There we go. And if you look at that, we can grab Temple Tech right now. That's great, isn't it? I will say we want to redo our burger loans at this point, so get ready for that. Just so you know what that means we're going to take loans to pay off our smaller burger loans. In this case, we're going to pay off these. And, well, there you go, paid off the burger loans. So we can now go to our burgers and go, hey, Mr. Burgerman, let's go in debt to you again with our larger loan size. And with that said, we can then go ahead and pay some of our 4%ers off. I don't think I'm going to pay off that many of them because we're about to spend a bunch of this money. So let's grab this mosque. We have a bit of inflation. That's a shame. Anyway, this is going to give us dev cost on the province, and more importantly, it's going to give us access to this mission here to repurpose Hagia Sophia, but we need that mosque upgraded. We're also going to upgrade the Center of Trade up as well, since we'll be dead in a second. Unfortunately, we didn't get around to killing these Janissaries before they finished occupation. Nothing major or bad is going to happen from that, so that's fine. Admin tech is the only tech we're going to be taking, so that's why I had to focus admin, because that's the only thing we need as well. But there we go. We're going to siege that, we're going to kill that, we can just go back to not paying for our troops forever. Okay, we can also pop a mission here to Iranian Greece, I guess we can. We're going to lose a whole bunch of autonomy there. Anyway, let's bring you guys home. I'm actually going to give out the 2 Janissary privileges, simply so we can complete it, so it can get us another agenda by 49, hopefully get the Merchant Guild's loyalty up. I of course didn't think about it, that their loyalty is going to be reduced quite significantly at this point. I guess loyalty to the Empire is quite a decent one to give out, no reason not to really. And now we wait. We want this church to finish building, and we want to start getting this Hagia Sophia upgraded. The idea behind that is to get access to repurpose the Hagia Sophia mission. This is going to be quite nice. It's going to give us a great mosque, which we'll be able to keep when we go Byzantium. And of course, we're going to get a whole bunch of development out of it in the process. Well, we're not going to get development directly, but I'll show you what I mean later. Oh, and also, there's no reason to keep paying for this fort here. This fort, I believe, is about to get rid of all this devastation, or at least it would on the next month tick. Yeah, in 2 more months, we can stop paying for this fort. Well, actually, we can stop paying for it next month, because this province is going to take away the devastation passively fast enough. Again, I'm really just microing the money here to make life easier. You don't need to do it that well. I'm just showing you the, I guess, super optimal way of doing it. There we go. It's going to take away 2 months anyway. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, just take the decadence. You're not going to be playing the Ottomans long enough for the decadence to matter. Right, and for the record, we're not even losing that much money here. So I've just pissed off my ulema, and I was like, oh, that's going to be bad financially. No, we're still only losing 5 ducats, so we're not paying for our troops. Max retail corruption, not paying for these forts. I'm going to keep this fort, because again, we're race players. Byzantium is quite a okay fort to have. But just not pay for it, and same for Constantinople. We shouldn't be declared on it, and no one's going to be thinking that we're that strong to declare on us. And Mamluks is going to be having fun by killing all the people around us, but you know what, let them have that fun. Again, as tempting as this is, don't call these promises. We need the admin points, and do not take any new technologies. We're going to need that to dev Constantinople. But the mosque is finished, which means we can go ahead and start thinking about upgrading Hagia Sophia now. And this is where the debt starts piling in. So, take enough loans to upgrade it. And start the process. What's nice is we only need to upgrade it once, so we can start burning our manpower towards it. That's always a good sign. If you don't have manpower at this point, you're not the end of the world. And it's going to be finished by 63. Yeah, we're going to need to take loans to get that finished faster. There's no much point taking it now, since we're not going to be actually doing the dev clicks later. I just want to get it started to save us a bit of money, hopefully, on a click. If you're ahead of schedule, you just have to sit around doing nothing. And, you know, getting some nice events like, hey, you take Prestige or a half-price advisor. I'm just going to take the Prestige here. Don't take tech, don't do much else, just save your money. If you also at any point did below power projection, go send some missiles out, or, you know, embargo your people. Embargo your enemies, etc. Don't worry, we get bailed out with an event for immoral prices. And I was also a bit worried because noble rebels are now looking like they might rise up, and that's going to be expensive to fight them. But thankfully, we could just give the merchants 46 ducats, and this is going to be quite nice for us. It's going to force them to another loan. But it's going to make the merchants loyal to keep the development costs right away. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to address all of the unrest demands here. Yeah, no, that's the separatism tick. Quite unfortunate. I believe we might be forced to actually pay for our troops here in a minute. It should be quite sad. Oh, and there we go, of course, because Ottomans, we get an extra production. Why not? Doesn't hurt us. Now, because fighting these rebels is going to be expensive, and because they're below 5%, what we can do is just go and suppress them. At least in one state, if I just cancel this and then suppress them here, and then get you to suppress them here, that's going to make them quite a bit smaller. There we go, down to 12k as well. Where else are they going to rise up in those new areas? Can we get away with it? Let's find out. There we go, yeah, they're pretty much gone actually at 0.43 now. If we just wait for a bit longer, they will genuinely just go away. Of course, the insurance was paying for your troops is, if they do rise up, our troops are actually paid for to, you know, go fight them. Okay, so it's December, a whole bunch of our truce is over, and we're also going to be looking at the Renaissance, hopefully next month. Hopefully it does pop in right away immediately, it sometimes doesn't. But don't worry, we do get the Renaissance quite likely right away in the 1st of January. It spawns in Naples, which I guess makes sense, but not going to be too picky. And this is where we get to play the game again. We saved up quite a bit of mana here, and, well, we're about to hit the ground running. So we have the burghers giving us the dev costs from being loyal. we want to keep that. That's good. If you do want to, we also summon the diet to get a bit of extra, loyalty from them if you haven't got that in your game. This is also going to give you access to one of the burgers, requirements. They might ask to pay off your debt. That might be a bit difficult. If they do that, that's quite unfortunate. Otherwise, it might help you to get their loyalty up. Otherwise, now it's time to hit the ground running with our debt, because we want to go ahead and pop this first mission here, repurpose Hagia Sophia. This is the part where, unfortunately, our good friend here has to go. We need to go ahead and grab a Theologian or a Inquisitor. In our case, we're going to be going for the Theologian. There's something I forgot to mention. If you're doing this yourself, you want to cycle your advice until you have a Theologian or an Inquisitor that you can upgrade. In our case, we do, which is quite convenient. So we're going to grab him. We're going to grab money so that we can promote him, and that's going to fulfill the second requirements. We are going to need that Hagia Sophia, though, at level 2, and we're going to need that temple in our capital, which we already have. To get it to level 2, well, in 2.16 we could have had the manpower to upgrade it again, and I'm tempted to do that, but also just take debt. Ooh, okay, that's the first one. Let's just upgrade that. And there we go. That's going to be enough, I believe, with one more loan. Ooh. Is that actually going to be enough in a day tick? There it is, level 2, perfect. And that's going to give us access to repurposing Hagia Sophia. What's also quite nice and important to do with that is going to give us another minus 20 local dev costs on the province. And some 50 tax. Unfortunately, we don't keep that when we go Byzantium, but it is what it is. With Great Mosque gained, which we do keep, this level 3, upgraded mosque, the fun begins. With only 81 development costs because of capital city, burgers, entry port, thriving merchant community, resettlement of Constantinople, development of temples, Imperial Muslim center, farmlands. Unfortunately, I believe the other thing has disappeared now. Is it the Bosnia one? No, thriving merchant community has not disappeared actually, so we are a bit ahead of schedule. We're going to be able to dev it, and the dev target that we have is 50 for this mission here. It's going to give us more base production, because if we have a level 2 central trade there present already, and it's going to give us 2 base production as well, setting the central trade to level 3. And we're going to get Imperial Capital for local construction cost, local dev cost, and local dev cost. And local construction time. Unfortunately, that's going to disappear, but the main point is we may as well pop this mission, get the extra development, and get the Constantinople up to level 50, because that's all that it requires. Constantinople needs to be 50 development and less devastated than 1. And let me tell you, all these dev clicks are going to make it a lot less devastated than 1. It's also going to, again, dev Renaissance for us. So, go over here and get the Encourage Development Edict. That's going to be very cheap now to dev. And importantly, do not unpause. So instead of January, the reason I'm unpausing is if we do, it's going to recalculate the cost to move our capital. And it's going currently at 290 admin. We do not want it to go up beyond that. So put in 2 clicks. Make sure you still have enough admin to move your capital later. In our case, we can put in another one actually. There we go. Yep. So we still have enough admin to move our capital. So far, so good. Then, with that, you want to be deving either with manpower or dev first. Doesn't matter too much. We just need 12 dev clicks out of you. I'm going to be doing a bit of a spread. So 2 clicks there, 2 clicks there. Because again, if you dev dip first, it's going to mean that the mill development is going to be more expensive. So keep clicking. As you can see, we're getting there. We do want to spend all of these points. And we should, if all else has gone perfectly, by around 1450, if you did the advisor setup that I did, basically just get there perfectly. You'll have Renaissance in your capital, and you'd have 50 dev there, which means you can go ahead and develop Constantinople. This is going to now put out 52 development, and get our level 3 center of trade. With that being said and done, now it's time for the release setup. So go over to here. We want to move our capital here. So now, as you notice, 290 as we did before. Do not unpause, it's going to increase our cost, because, it's saying 48 days development, yeah. So we're going to move our capital, and the reason I like this province I'll explain later. Again, problem's actually going to be one of these islands that's going to be awkward, but it is what it is. Delete your navy. It's gone. Move your capital. And now it's time for the big setup of nation ruling. First things first. Oh, you can also sell titles. But first things first, before we become a lot smaller, take out all of your loans. Every single loan that you're allowed to take out. Is that because you're embracing execution? Not quite. We just want to be a max amount of money taken out, because you want the Ottomans to go bankrupt basically immediately. We want to then go ahead and create a couple vassals. The first vassal that we're going to be releasing is going to be someone like Eretna. Eretna? Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Obviously, do not play as them. Click on Estates to reset it, to reset the subject map mode, and then to Eretna. What I like to do is give them these provinces over here. And we're going to do them later. The next one is basically I like having 2 vassals in Turkey, not just one in Eretna. is you want to go ahead and release another one. Doesn't matter which one you release, pick your favorite. I quite like Iodine because they're quite a bit of a mini Easter egg, but if you want to go do Garamian, yeah, this one also is fine. Again, up to you. I'm going to go with Iodine because I think I see them less, just in general. Again, make sure to not play as them. So when you've released them, go ahead to them then and grant them a bunch of provinces. Now you can make this as ugly or as beautiful as you want. It really does not matter. The general plan is to make sure the Ottomans do not hold this land to make the annexation of them as easy as possible. I'd also recommend giving out the straight crossing here. And then we'll go to Eretna and also grant them all of this land. Okay, so far so good. Now bear in mind again, our capital is moved to here, so when we release players Byzantium, they will get Constantinople, because Byzantium still has their core on it. The next one we're going to be releasing, of course, is going to be Bulgaria. Do not play as them. And there we go, that's a nice big Bulgaria that we've released. Now, the only province that Byzantium does not have a core on now, if we take a look, is actually going to be this one. This one's also quite annoying, because the Ottomans, I find, might go rebuild a navy, and that's going to be awkward. So yeah, that's just annoying. You're going to build a navy as Byzantium yourself. In the ideal world, you would go to someone, however, like your vassal here as Eretna, and just grant them this province. Well, in the ideal world, if you could do that, unfortunately you can't. So as Byzantium, you're going to have to, as on your opener, build up your navy. Because we're about to go ahead and leave this country, as it were. Oh, yeah, we can summon Diet. Don't spend this money. Oh, we've got an old smaller, which means that our loan size has changed, so we can go ahead and take a whole bunch more loans. This is another important thing to mention. Because we're a lot smaller now, our loan size has decreased. So we can just go ahead and take an obscene amount of debt. With 105 loans. Yeah. Look at our debt now, 8 grand. So why have we taken all of this debt? Well, first things first, troop count-wise, I'd like to not disband them. The reason I like to not disband them is that even though the Ottomans are about to go bankrupt, they're still going to keep these troops, and that's going to prevent the AI mostly from declaring on them, which is quite nice, even though they're bankrupt. But yeah, no, this is the Ottomans that we're leaving behind, pretty much no points anywhere. Yeah, we can't even get any more clicks in. As our final thing, get your last couple dev clicks in. I'm going to do it on the provinces that were devastated, just to get rid of the devastation. Can't do it on Athens because we haven't caught it, but so on and so on. Just again, really make sure we spend all of our points. And with that, oh, and our loan size has not increased. No, they have not. It's time. We will now go ahead and play and release as Byzantium. And there we go. We are now Byzantium. And the first thing that you notice is we have no debt. We have 7.6 grand in the bank. Because for some dumb reason, we inherit the percentage of the Ottoman treasury when we release and play as. Why? God knows that. Completely balanced? Absolutely. Unfortunately, we also inherit the Ottoman inflation. That is something we're going to have to deal with. The other thing to bear in mind is I'd recommend making a save right before you release some players yourself. You can burn a couple times to get a good ruler. In this case, you didn't get a great one, 036, but he's dead average, so we're going to keep him. The same can be said for the other reforms. We also don't start with any of our reforms selected. We can go ahead and take Byzantine autocracy here. I'd recommend taking this later when we're about to upgrade our government reform. Otherwise, you can just don't take another one at the earlier tiers. Because this one's not great. I mean, you're getting, what, a bit of prestige for pretender rebels every time your ruler rises up. Not great. Otherwise, yeah, we have the Byzantine missions. Look at that. And most crucially, we have 52 development Constantinople. That still has a Genoese colony, which means that we have the fun decisions. Namely, we can integrate this thing when we have 50% trade power in Constantinople. Oh, look at that. 3 base tax and base production in a 52 development province, of course. We can restore Constantinople as well, because one of the things people are worried about is, oh no, it's now Turkish and Sunni, that's bad. Well, don't worry, you're Byzantium, you get to press this button, and it's Greek and Orthodox right away again. Unfortunately, we do downgrade to level 2, but we keep Hagia Sophia at level 2 as well, so that's nice. Yeah, basically, it's quite strong. Unfortunately, the Byzantines are going to give out our estate privileges for us, so we haven't exactly... We are going to keep deteriorating our army, we're going to keep Union of Churches, we are going to keep exemptions from Latin merchants, that's something we're going to have to deal with. But it's not going to be that big of a deal to resolve, as it were. Which it does mean, of course, that our morale is quite sad because of our deteriorating army, but it is what it is. We should be able to just pop this mission here for 10 morale, and then reverse the downfall to pop immediately for another, for a bit more manpower. And again, that just means that we're able to pause this division to repair the army ASAP. So, anyway, I digress. That's the setup. So why have we given away all this land? Well, first of all, that means that Bulgaria is not going to be very disloyal 56, and these guys are going to be moderately disloyal. It's actually nice that they're not too disloyal. The idea is that when we declare our independence war on them, they're going to ally each other and hence become more disloyal, especially when the Ottomans declare bankruptcy. But they're going to hopefully prevent the AI from declaring war on the Ottomans too much. This also means that when we full axe the Ottomans, we get to grab these three people as our vassals without much AE, which is going to be quite nice. Anyway, let me do the nation setup here, and I'll get back to you when that's done. Oh, and important to mention, we did not take other Miltech or any other technologies, so we're behind on Miltech. But so is Bulgaria and the other three vassals. Oh, also, if you are going to pop up rebels, make sure you do it now, because that means the Ottomans are very likely to actually go over there and deal them for you, which is quite nice. And by pop rebels, I mean from the States thing. You may be tempted to hire mercenaries right away, but if you are going to do that, bear in mind that you have a bit of armed professionalism. What I'd actually recommend, and don't laugh here, is immediately slacken. You don't need the professionalism now, but because you release and play with basically no manpower, well, you start with 1k, but I've queued up a soldier here, you're actually better off just slackening just to get your manpower back up as soon as possible. Anyway, enough talking, let's unpause. Let's show you what we're doing in this interim period, because we need to declare war on the Ottomans by 55. Oh, and of course, we're Byzantium, so Athens has been reclaimed, guys. Here's 10 prestige and 50 dip. And the Turks have been driven from the Western Balkans, so here's a whole bunch of your starting monarch points back. We want to catch up on tech, so it's a good thing to get those monarch points back early. Also, because you solve Renaissance, you can pop this mission, and you get a advisor cost as well as 75% of advisor. So this advisor I hide here is technically a waste of money. That's my bad. Make sure you don't do it yourself. We're going to wait until until February here. Oh, and we're well connected. Would you look at that? That's incredible. This means that we pretty much can go right ahead, and he's 35, so keep him around for a while. Yeah, we can get this guy to level 5 already. That's going to really help us with everything. As you can see, he's incredibly cheap, and if you want to make him even cheaper, well, we have minus 15 here. You can get the same effect by going over to here and give him minus 15, since, you know, in your run that will be even stronger. You can also just bird until you get this. I got it right away to be lucky. I don't know if that's necessarily the best one, but it is what it is. I mean, do I want the... there's no reason not to. Right, so yeah, this guy's... We're paying 3.6 ducats for a +5 advisor. This is in 1450. Yeah, this is balanced. Don't worry about it, trust me. Are the Ottomans going to help us with our rebels? Maybe not. We'll find out in a second. I hope they are. Oh, look at that. Look at the Ottomans. Because we're loyal, they're going to help us with their rebels. And are they? They're bankrupt. Yeah. Of course, the Ottomans are immediately bankrupt. Isn't that perfect? Now, I need to keep an eye on them, make sure they don't get declared on. That's about it. And, oh, Ottomans cease paying tribute. Now, we can get 100 ducats out of it. At this point, I think we have enough money, so I think we just get the dip. Honestly. I'd rather them not give us money, to be honest. Because we'd rather they have that money for not paying off extra debt, so people don't declare on them. We are building up we do want to build up our own troops as fast as humanly possible as well, so yeah. And oof, that's an unfortunate event, but yeah, we'll probably take the decrease to inflation. That's quite bad. We are going to have a lot of inflation with this. That's one of the side effects, unfortunately. Not much you can do there. But as well, our liberty site is now absolutely massive, and as you can see, all of our vassals are now very, very disloyal, which is great. You can also sell Crown Land if we really want money. I'd rather just get Crown Land at this point. I mean, again, we've pissed off on all of our estates because of how many privileges and stuff I've given out, but it is what it is. You may be tempted to do some dev clicks to get the to get some more buffs and stuff. I would not recommend it. Just wait for your tech. You want to catch up on tech first. We're also going to be able to end the Union of Churches quite quickly because we're going to just win a war against the Ottomans relatively simply. Shouldn't be an issue. And also, we're going to get these guys loyal sooner rather than later anyway. So just heads up, in my save, the Ottomans have allied Cyprus. That's a bit annoying, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple more light ships just so that we have the opportunity to land on them. You can go with naval force, and then again, it's not that big of a deal. So I'm going to start paying for my army marched over here. Our boats are pretty much finished now, so let's collate them. Make sure the Ottomans don't have any way of fighting back. We're going to walk over here and immediately slaughter this, because again, they should be over They should be still bankrupt when that happens. There we go, 55. First things first, we can summon Diet, which we absolutely should. There, get legitimacy. That's the problem as well. Our legitimacy is going to be something I'm going to kind of struggle with. Increase trade power in Constantinople? Yeah, I believe we will. So let's go for that one. Anyway, Constantinople, that truce is genuinely about to expire. And they abandoned revolt. Now that is perfect, isn't it? And there we go, our truce with the Ottomans has expired. We can declare independence Casus Belli. That's going to set us back quite a bit of prestige, so make sure you're ready there to increase it. That's the problem with the aristocratic and doing the advisor stuff. It's going to make that a bit more expensive, but you should have the admin for it anyway. So, with that all said and done, especially since you probably won't have a zero admin ruler, so you probably have a bit more admin than me at the moment. With that all said and done, let's prepare for that. By preparing for it, I mean just go for it right now. I'm going to deploy one cake, just in case the AI declares war on them or something. And what's nice is these guys shouldn't fight, because they're all destroyed. So we'll immediately get to the siege controller there. We can go over there and start sieging them out now. And move our navy in to blockade. We can also go ahead and take Defender of Faith here. I mean, it's not a bad idea, I guess, but there's better ways for you to spend your money on. There we go, that's sieged out now. We don't need all these troops here, or especially our king actually sieging it, so I don't believe he has any siege. No, he does not. So, just step back here, and hey, can we loot this again? We can loot this again. But before we do that, actually need to go siege on Cyprus. Yeah, let's go siege on Cyprus. Oh, that's a lot of boats. Yeah, see, they are destroyed, so they're not going to send their boats out. They're not going to send their troops out to fight, but they are going to send their boats out, which is okay. Let's hope we can sneak past them into Cyprus. So let's grab our first 5k invasion stack with our general, or our ruler, and head on over to Cyprus. Let's take the more scenic route, for lack of a better word. Again, as you can see, Bulgaria has 10k and so on. They can absolutely be making our life miserable for us, so can't be able to. But they're disloyal, so they're not doing that. Oh, that's going to be problematic. But it's Miltech 3 or Miltech 4. What's their general? We have a much better general. Good luck! Hopefully we win that. Not if they build another stack. Oh, we do need to cut it tight in your version, by the way. You really don't need to cut it tight as I'm about to. But yeah. Of course, no retreat too, so that's an instant stack wipe. And hey, we've already breached the walls on there. Again, with your boats, take the scenic route. Absolutely take the scenic route. Don't want to be fighting the Bulgarians. Last thing you need to do is for them to be involved in the war. Okay, so we're popping over here. Let's grab the remaining 5k that we'll need to siege that. Unfortunately, Cyprus is a level 3 fort. Oh, scenic route, important, scenic route. We don't want to be fighting the Bulgarians here, because last thing we need to send to reinforce it, sink our boats and our hopes and dreams. Take the scenic route. Ooh, admin tech. I'm going to take it. Why not? In terms of ideas, really depends on your game. Depends on whatever you want to take here. Not much point taking any of them. All up to you. Depends on what you want to achieve this game. If you want to do a Byzantium one-tag world conquest, I'd recommend something like administrative to get some more CCR, or diplomatic for province force cost. If you just want to have a fun game as Byzantium, a very strong opener will be something like quality, just to get better troops, or even offensive, just to get that whole conquering shebang going faster. Anyway, that's my mini advice here. Doesn't matter for Iran, so we shouldn't care. I'm going to blockade this just to make this faster. And now we wait. I'll get back to you when these sieges are done. Oh yeah, Bulgaria might move their troops out to look at you threatening. Doesn't mean they're going to do anything. They should still remain disloyal. You want to make sure they stay disloyal. That'd be very bad if they become loyal, because then they're actually going to fight. And that's going to hurt. You know, you have to try. Anyway, I'll catch you when these sieges are over. Okay, so there goes Avalonia. Unfortunately, it took us like 2 years, so that's a shame. I'd hope Bulgaria doesn't step on here. No, they should be disloyal still, so shouldn't be sieging that out. We still have war goal to defend Constantinople. Unfortunately, these naval occupations are going to cost us a lot of war score. We might end up having to fight fight these navies, which is annoying, but it is what it is. And of course, we're going to get some separatists, but that's okay. That's what the Achaean Fort is for. It shouldn't be an issue there. Oh, also, if you're not going to be taking any ideas, I still recommend holding idea. I'm going to hold religious just to hold an idea group for events. You can also hold innovative if you want idea cost reduction, the usual things. As a matter of fact, I'm going to hold innovative because it's taking the mini try-hard thing to do. Yeah, Cyprus really made this process a lot longer than it should have been. But it's about to fall. There we go. Now convenient. Right on cue. So I believe you can go head over to Cyprus now and piece them out. Do you want to grab them? Force Ridge on them, get the age buff. Yeah, why not? I mean, you can also just grab them as a province. If you have the abbot spare, which I guess I don't in this case, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. My demo's about to be over anyway. We can then take this opportunity to send our boats home. And as you can see, already 12 wolf score. Hey, last jousting tournament. Let's pick it up, why not? Oh, and don't do what I've done. Get ready to have the admin to stand back up. Oh, yeah, of course. Boats coming home, scenic crowd. Scenic crowd. Yeah, see, 12k, 11k, another popular 12k over there. They would fight us if they were loyal, but they're not, so. The other thing is what I mentioned with, which is quite good, is that because, see, they're Miltech 3 and Miltech 4, and we're already Miltech 5, so because we're going to be ahead of tech, that's going to make the actual process of keeping them loyal a lot easier. Oh, that's a bit annoying, isn't it? And Venice has rivaled us. How unfortunate. Okay. 23, hey, are you guys ready to? No. Yeah, this is the problem now. It's a bit hard to get water against a person who does not have much of land. But you can also always take the greed route. Carpet Siege the AI. They should run away from you. Quite nice. So don't get too greedy. They are going to still stand and fight, but it's a good way of grabbing a bunch of food. Again, just make sure you're not getting too cocky. Sorry, Bulgaria, just a temporary setback. And look at that, already 41 wolf score. We're getting close. Problem with 50 development Constantinople, of course, is... Ooh, no power. Ooh, Western support, nice. Is, you get quite a big rebel stack if Constantinople rises up, but had bigger problems. Back to grabbing mini occupations. As you can see, they're not unsieging because they're not loyal, so they'll be like, oh, why would we unsiege our own land? It's such a loyal vassal thing to do. Which is kind of funny, I find. You can get... Oh, yeah. Don't get too cocky. Demo being right here, yep. Oof. Yeah, don't get too cocky. Don't do what I just did. They will still fight you. If you get very cocky like I just did. Very demonstration. Don't do what I just did there. Bad. But it's going to still help in terms of Dani's occupation. Oh, God. Come on, 60 war score, really? $61. There we go, demand their full annexation and get independence. And this is going to lead to something very cool. We can also grab our back if it's quick, because again, if it's full annexation, it takes everything. Apart from max money, of course, for some reason. But yeah. And there we go, Bulgaria is now a vassal. They are going to be disloyal because they will ally each other, so you're going to have to deal with that. But 1459, we've got ourselves some very fancy borders. It's quite impressive to do that. We have no loans, we have 3k in the bank, and if we did this a bit more often, we have a bit more troops. We're running 533 advisors. We've caught up on tech, literally caught up on tech. We have the institution embraced. We have 52 development Constantinople. We've got a level 4 capital for... There we go. What's not to love? We'll be able to get these guys loyal sooner rather than later as well. We can go rival our peeps. We can go ahead to pop missions like reversing downfall, getting manpower, getting more money. The usual things. And there we go. This is the Forbidden Byzantium strat. This has been done in Ironman. Again, the achievement is enabled here. I could have microed the late parts a bit better like I'd microed the first parts, but it's really not necessary. The only real downside is you get a bit less stab, so you're going to have to spend a bit more of it. And if you do what I did, which is let them occupy your ports for a while, you're going to get a bunch of war exhaustion. That's annoying, that I will concede. But if you're going to argue they're going to get less war exhaustion actually fighting the Ottomans, well, I'd like to see you try. On that note, however, that's going to be pretty much it for the video. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next one. Goodbye.